Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Joyful Reader. I'm here with kind of a very late night, kind of a book haul, it's a small one, because I did get some books last year and I'm still going through them. Um, I have been listening to Brandon Sanderson. I finished Jordan Peterson's book a while back. I'm actually thinking about giving it a reread. Um, to show you guys first, I have been reading, looking into hopefully reading this year, um, Steelheart, Firefight, and Calamity from Sanderson. So this was not something I got purchased. This was a gift, but hopefully I can maybe do a reading vlog on this with my crafting channel on the other side. It's been becoming quite busy for me. So it's about a set of heroes that is to come in this fantasy world, because where there are villains, there will be heroes. What the catchphrase is on that series. So I don't know anything more about that. Let's see. One book that this was all gifted to me. I've been reading this, and I have actually been enjoying it. It's about excuse me. Swallowed water the wrong way. It's about House of Gold is about this woman who is from a Jewish background, and this is her story set during the 1910s, early 1900s. And so she is sent to marry her cousin, who is a gold bomb in England, and she is a gold bomb. What is her maiden name? It will also be her married name. So she marries her cousin, which was not uncommon during that time. But this is basically a story about her family that raised her and the family that she has made. And so there are some parts that I don't like to the book itself, but the writing overall is pretty good, I think. So I've been liking it so far. She is married to this distant cousin of hers, and she is unhappy, but she's finding a way to kind of connect to her husband by investing in creating a garden. And so it's a special garden where she wants to do everything to her vision, to her taste, which isn't following in line with the gold bomb method of leaving, a mark behind. So, and in the background, you have all of these, the connection between the Jewish and Protestant, and set against this backdrop, and how they interacted a little bit from this perspective. So the author is Natasha Solomons, and I have been enjoying this book. I found out that Overdrive has an audiobook, so I like to switch between the audiobook and reading. So I might be able to finish this. There is one book I'm finishing up, and that's Angel Mage by Garth Nix from Overdrive. So hopefully I can finish that. But I did finish the second book in The Forbidden Cities by Shannon Messenger, I think her name is. So that will be fun to look at. And so the next set were actually two books that I did purchase from last year that I didn't think I got to show. I've been picking up a little bit more of science fiction and just kind of wanting to read more of science fiction. So the book I picked up was at the dollar store for about $1. So this is Zixin Liu, called Ball Lightning. And so I'm hoping I can read this first before I read the Three Body trilogy. So it's supposed to be about a young boy whose parents were killed by lightning. And so he devotes basically his entire life to figuring out how to hopefully unfurl the mystery of this phenomenon and maybe to control it. So he goes through different places, like a lab, mountaintops, and so he begins to question how he lives his own life through this journey for dangerous weaponry. And so that's all I know about the book. So I'm hoping to give this a read and see what that is all about. Actually, this is something I did pick up for, my husband, because I do like to read a little bit here and there. So there's that. And then this one, it was something I did purchase. This was To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. I have yet to get to this. This is a huge book. This is something I can see myself reading like a second time through. I've started to kind of read books a second time. I generally am like, I read one book and I'm one and done. Because there's a lot of other books for me to go through. So I'm like, I don't know about that. So I have read his Aragon series, and I did enjoy those for the most part, I think. And this is about a young girl who is, I believe, a mechanic. And so she comes across this device on another world. And that's all I know really of the story itself. But I am anxious to read this. So we'll see what happens. Let's go. The next set is a series of books I picked up basically from thrifting. This one is Love, Lies, and Spies. This is about, I've read this author before. This is a young girl who is named Juliana Tefford, and she's obsessed with learning about ladybugs. And so she meets a young man named Spencer Northam, who turns out to be a spy, and that's all I know of the story so far. But I'm hoping that this will be a good read. I think I tried reading it before, and then I put it aside because I'm like, I'm trying to put some quiet time to do some craft and some reading this year, so I can just get through that. And then the next one is something I was very happy to find was Storm Siren by Mary Weber. It's a very simple book. I did start reading this too, and then I put it down. I think it's a nice, clean read. but I'll get more into like what I think about the story overall. Um, I'm glad to have picked these up and read them. So that was by Mary Weber. And this is all new, well, new to me. Um, so I had gone to a store, Goodwill, and I picked up The Distant Hours by Kate Morton. And it's about a young girl whose name is Eddie. And she is a bookworm. And by the time she reaches a certain point in her life, she discovers a letter that was sent to her mother 50 years earlier. And so she has to go back and figure out what this letter is about. And the journey takes her to Milderhurst Castle, which is in Kent. And so she kind of pieces together this past of this young little girl who lived during World War II. And so this kind of takes place around 1941 for part of the history that she's looking at. So I will be very interested to see how this is, but I thought the inside of the cover was really neat, so there's that one. And then I was just browsing through, and this lady put this book back on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, I've actually been looking for this book. This is The Explorers Guild, Volume 1 by John Baird, or Beard, I don't know, and Kevin Costner. This is Volume 1. I remember when this came out in 2015, and I love this. It's very gorgeous. Don't know what happened there. Men who are adventurers, and they go around the world seeking the secrets of, civilizations or whatnot. But it's kind of, I think it's been inspired by kind of Pulp Fiction stories or adventure stories. So, and this is supposed to be set about against the backdrop of World War I, and it is beautiful book. It is a beautiful book. Excuse me. It's part like comic book, but also kind of narrative. I just love this. This is just a very beautiful book. This is very nostalgic for me. Very steampunk. And it's made to look like an old book. So it's kind of funny because I kind of coffee dyed some pages this color. And the paper feels very nice. So there's that one. And this was, the hardbacks were like $2, but this is such a beautiful book. I'm hoping the story is good. So I was very happy to find that. And then the next are a series of children's books. Or young adult, I should say. This one is Starflight. And it is about a young girl who has a criminal past, but she's very good at what she does. And so she has accepted a job in another planet, but in order to actually get there, she has to go through the system of journeying in this particular world, and she has to indenture herself to someone who's willing to fund her. So during the time that she goes on that journey, say it takes like 2 months or whatever, she has to serve this person and someone that she doesn't like very much. So this book, I think, was published in 2016. So it's not, I don't think it's, no, it's not that old. But the writing seems easy so far. I kind of previewed this. But I thought, why not give it a try? Oh, excuse me. So there's that one. And then I picked up for this. This is Open the Book That Unlocks the Secret. This is Edmund Spring. And so in the middle of the night, a stranger in a cloak is taking a heavy box through the streets, and it's winter. And the chest is full of these fantastical beasts. So it's supposed to be kind of like, almost like a dark academia book, a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of like, when the chest can only be open if someone pricks their finger on there. So I will be reading this and seeing if this is any good. So it's in pretty good shape too. All right. And then this one I've been kind of curious to read. It's supposed to be kind of part thriller, part mystery, about this young girl who was that went into this forest, and then she was the only survivor that came back out alive. And so this is kind of like a diary being put together, and so it shifts between person of or points of view between characters. So it's kind of piecing together things. So it's called The Dead House by Dawn Kurtagich. I think that's the name. And she's also written And the Truth Crept In. So I'll be interested to see. The writing is actually really tiny for a book this size. It's like the other ones are rather large, so I was like, okay. And so this one, I had a few more books to show you, but those are more series. That one wasn't found at Goodwill, The Dead House. That was found at another thrift store. But this was found at Goodwill. This is Castle Shadows by Ellen Renner. There is a mystery about this queen that has disappeared. And so the daughter of the king and the queen is an 11-year-old princess named Charlie, and she's supposed to be a bit of a mischief maker, but she's on a mission to find the missing queen in order to stop a war. So that's all I know so far. So that sounds interesting, and it has to do with a library. So seems to be the things with libraries and books. And so the next one I picked up was The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls. This is about a young girl. I like the inside. About a young girl named Victoria who has a pretty good life, and she's very well organized, and she lives in Bellevue. She has a best friend that she hangs out with a lot. They're same age, but one day Lawrence disappears. And it says that without Lawrence, Victoria has no one to walk around school with. And basically no one to boss. So she discovers that her best friend that's missing isn't the only missing child in town. So she starts to piece together that the children's home that is there may be behind it all. So we'll see what happens. But I thought this was, and to my surprise, this is also illustrated. So there's so that'll be kind of interesting to see. But I think that's my haul video for now. I hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see if I can do some more videos this year. I'm not promising anything.